Can a class clown change their ways? Let's unpack that. Welcome. This week we are talking to a 14-year-old who feels misunderstood. Our friend says, I got in trouble again at school last week. In history class, I made a joke when the teacher was talking about Napoleon being short. I said something like, he probably had short man syndrome. A few kids laughed, but the teacher got super mad and said I was being disrespectful and disruptive. She sent me to the office, and now I have detention, and they called my parents again. I swear I'm not even a bad kid. Yeah, sometimes I mess around, but I do my work and I'm not trying to hurt anybody. It just feels like once you get labeled as the troublemaker, no one gives you a chance. I feel like the teachers and even my own parents are just waiting for me to mess up. I'm starting to think maybe they're right about me. What's even the point of trying if I'm always going to be seen as the bad kid? Signed, Misunderstood, a 14-year-old male. Well, misunderstood, thanks for writing in. And I appreciate you being honest about what happened. Let's unpack your situation. So, I feel like you were trying to be funny and make the class a little more interesting because let's be honest, history can be boring. But your comment about Napoleon crossed a line for your teacher. And even if you didn't mean anything by it, it made her upset. What you're describing is something we talk about in psychology called a self-fulfilling prophecy. When teachers label students as troublemakers, they're sometimes going to start treating them in ways that's more like makes it more likely that the student will act out, especially if that student feels misunderstood or targeted. It's unfair, but it's real. That being said, you also have a lot of insight here. You're owning the fact that you were joking around, but you're also making it clear that you do care about school and you care about what your parents think about you. And that's a balance. Knowing when it's okay to joke around and when it's better to hold back is part of learning something called emotional regulation. It's a skill that develops during adolescence as your brain matures, especially in areas that control impulse and decision making. So, your prefrontal cortex is still developing all the way up until your 20s. So, you don't have all those functions readily accessible to you as your teacher might. So, here's something to try. Next time, before you crack a joke, pause. Just get in the habit of pausing before you open your mouth. Think to yourself, will this build trust or will it break it? Humor is great, but when people feel disrespected, even if unintentionally, it can hurt your relationships with them. If there's a teacher you feel even slightly safe with, try asking for a clean slate. Say, have a conversation with them and say, I'm working on being more mature and not joking around during class time. Can we start fresh? And hopefully that will give them something positive to respond to. Listen, misunderstood, you're not a bad kid. You're someone who's just trying to figure out how to be seen for who you really are. And that's one of the hardest, most important things about being a teenager. You are a teenager with a sharp mind and a witty sense of humor, but your brain is still learning to self regulate. Maybe what you need isn't another detention, it's just someone who sees the whole picture. If you've ever felt mislabeled or misunderstood at school, drop a comment below and let's unpack that together. Thanks for joining us.